Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm Tosh Customs, and today we'll be looking at my custom Mezco Prometheus figure. This was a commission, so some of the parts were provided. Um, yeah, I don't think I have anything more to say about it. We'll dive right in. I was really excited for this figure to make this figure, very honored to make this figure, mainly because, first of all, the body it uses, and also Prometheus is not a well-known DC character. He's not too popular because everyone has a custom Joker. Everyone's making Riddler and Two-Face and stuff, but Prometheus doesn't get as much attention. So the chance to make a more unique character is always very exciting to me. So without further ado, we'll dive right in. As always, we'll look at accessories first. And so besides the hands, he just comes with a sword. There we go. He comes with a sword and a baton. So both the sword and the baton are actually based off of very old figures. This is like a 1990s like Spawn figure or something. I got this lot from a friend, just very like old 90s figures. So I pulled this sword from it, and so I painted the hilt black and the blade this blue. I mixed this bright blue with this white, so we get more of this like electric blue type color. I'm very happy with how it turned out. I really like this color. Yeah, it stands out a lot. And then this is an old 1990s lightsaber. It was from like this weapons pack for three and 3/4 inch figures. I think they're like $5 on eBay right now. I was looking up some of the value of the stuff he gave me just to see what I was getting handed. And so, it's not an expensive pack to get if you want to get it yourself. It makes for a perfect baton. So all I did was I just added a layer of sculpt over the lightsaber blade to make it a little bit thicker. And then after that, we just got it with the blue. So pretty happy with how that turned out too. Coming to the hands and also the body, this is the Sovereign Knight figure from the Black Mask Batman 2-pack, which is why I was saying I was so honored to work with this figure, because it is a very expensive pack, limited release. So when he sent it to me to work with, I was like, geez, this is crazy. And I'm very excited to work with it. And I think the custom turned out great. So real quick, just diving into the hands. All the hands are painted the same, so we only have to look at one. We just painted that gold. Everything else is the standard matte black. The reason why I wanted this to be gold, because I think in the comics, mostly his hands are all black. He doesn't really do much with his gloves. But the reason why I wanted this to be gold is that it transitions smoothly into his arms, his arm braces. So there's some nice consistency there, and that's what I wanted to go for. And so because of that, chose to make that part of the armor padding gold, and I think it turned out really well. So we got his batarang hands, we got his open expressive hands, we got his little gun finger trigger hands, and we also have his closed gripping and grasping hands. So we got that. So now let's look at the figure, see how it was made. I'm gonna bring him up a little bit more. We'll stand him right there. You guys get a closer look to see what we're dealing with. Sorry for constantly clearing my throat. I don't know why whenever I make a video, my voice always goes dry. I should have like a bottle of water here. I'll do that next time. So we're gonna go top down. Why not? I think the most unique part probably is the head sculpt. How in the world did we get this Prometheus head sculpt? What in the world? And all of it is sculpted. I don't know if you guys recognize the mouth, but it started off as a Bruce Wayne head because it's from a Batman figure. So go figure. I don't think the Black Mask 2-pack version actually comes with the Bruce Wayne head. Thankfully, I had a spare one on hand because I bought 2 Sovereign Knight figures to make my custom. I don't remember why I did that. I think it was an accidental purchase. But anyways, had a spare Bruce Wayne head sitting around. So that became the Prometheus head. What we did was we shaved off all the hair. So all this upper hair got all shaved off. Also shaved off the sides and the ears. So he looked like a weird Voldemort-y kind of dude, maybe. just everything all the way back, sanded down. Then from there, we sculpted. I did this head in multiple parts, by the way. Always sculpt in multiple parts. You won't be able to finish any project in one run, especially things that have a lot of dimensions to it. So the first thing was just sculpting this underlayer of the helmet. So this side, and it runs all the way back. Sculpting that, having that smooth. Then what I did was, to add more volume, I sculpted a layer over the eye. Just a straight rectangle that went from the side of the head all the way over for his visor. Then I actually had to go over this with a third layer so that I could inlay the grooves that become like part of his night mask. This band that runs back is its own layer. Then obviously we also have his chin strap. These antennae I had to make myself. So what I did was I rolled little tiny tubes of this, or just one single tube of sculpt, let it harden, and then cut them to equal measure so that they matched in length. And then attach them to the sides with some more sculpt. And then we got our little red dots there, which is fun. Let's bring that in. Little red dots there. And so that was the helmet. Yeah, took a while. It was like, this is probably like 3-4 days of working, because you got to sculpt it and you have to let it sit and dry, sculpt it, sit and dry, sculpt it, sit and dry. And then finally coming over with paint. And so we have a metallic purple, obviously. We got silver. We got some gloss red, and then we got some gloss black inside those visor holes. That's the head. Okay. I'm going to set it aside for now so that we can take a closer look at the figure. We're going to place it right there. There we go. So, we made a lot of adjustments to this figure. So, boots are standard, knees are standard. All we did was a paint job. So, the little vent lock pieces on both sides are done in silver. Some versions of the character have like this little purple armor plate. So since his boots are all armor, we took some artistic liberties and made this the purple armor piece. And I think it looks really nice. Since it runs across the whole foot anyways, it fits perfectly, which I think is cool. And then those little lines in there are done in a metallic purple. The knee pads are a matte black, but on the underside, we hit it with a gloss black just to help us see some of the layering of the armor there. Coming up to the belt, this is the standard belt that he comes with. However, we cut off part of the strap on there because his belt in the comics kind of does like this angular V type thing. And so the best way to accomplish that was just to get his belt buckle to have some variance to it. And so that's how we did that there. There is no grappling hook attachment on the back. It's all purple all the way around, and then we hit it with some gloss black detailing. So a lot of the grooves in there are done in a gloss black, and all the little clips and stuff on the pouches are done in a gloss black. Coming up to the chest, this is the Deathstroke chest piece with a severe modification. So obviously all the under part, and I don't know how much comes around on the back of the figure, but it's all gone. Whoa. So yeah. And then actually this is only part of the chest piece too. I think the normal chest piece has this extra under section. Cut all that off. So it's just a very clean chest plate that just covers the chest. We also made modifications to the collar. Sorry, I just realized I was seeing a little bit out of frame there. So this whole collar edge has been cut down, sanded down a little bit to make it shorter. This front collar piece has also been cut down a little bit. And then the sides have also been cut out. All of that is just to help accommodate the head a little bit more. I didn't want to have any paint scratching on the purple. We didn't want to deal with any of that. So we made room where necessary, shortened it down so it fits the head a little bit better. Made some space on the sides so that he can still turn his head without getting in the way of that. Since we're still looking at the front, my black gray, dry brushed the sides of the straps in black gray. I love black gray now. It's like my new gunmetal because I love gunmetal too. The fun part actually is that the normal figure already has some silver in the scratches. So when I dry brushed this black, some of that wear and tear just still sat in there. And it looks nice. You can see it in those scratches. It just worked out perfectly. There are little things, you know, whenever you make a custom, there are unlucky things that happen and there are lucky things that happen. And that was one of the lucky things. I'll explain some of the unlucky things later. But that was one of the lucky ones, just having that extra wear and tear there. So then the grooves, we highlighted it in metallic purple just to keep some of that consistent color scheme coming up the figure fully. You know, we have it in the bottom and it follows all the way up. So, you know, that's an important part of design, consistent color scheme. Then this is painted in white. The reason why I painted it in white, because so that it matches the cape. And the reason why is that in the comics, he has this white cape that sits over everything, like this white cloak, and it kind of billows up in the front and runs back. Obviously, if we're going to have him more armored, we can't do that. So then how do we get the consistency of having white in the front of the figure so that it still, you know, accurately represents the comics? We paint the under part white so that it looks like, you know, it runs all the way back. And I feel like it looks pretty consistent. And so it looks like he has cape under his armor. Cape under his armor. There we go. Keep it in frame. I keep on looking at the figure instead of looking through the camera. So that's my bad. I'm sorry if anything is filmed a little weird. So coming to these shoulder pads, these are from an old Lord of the Rings figure. The only reason I have Lord of the Rings figures, because I think the last time they were made was in the 90s. 80s? No, it has to be 90s. 90s, maybe early 2000s, was because I had an old commission. I did the commission for the guy. He wanted some Game of Thrones figures, so I bought some Lord of the Rings figure for some armor parts. And the dude just disappeared off the map. I was working on it and I messaged him. He never responded. So I never got completed payment. But on the flip side, I kept all the parts. So, you know, never toss away old parts either, because these shoulder pads finally came in handy. So I sculpted all these nubs on them, painted it gold, and then in all the cracks, I hit it with some gunmetal. And the reason why was because otherwise a lot of the detail was lost. We couldn't see all those extra lines and stuff. So hit it with some gunmetal to really bring that out. Coming down to the gauntlets, these are Deathstroke gauntlets. So we removed the Sovereign Knight arms, and here's where it gets unlucky. This left side Sovereign Knight arm was super friggin' glued on there. So actually, when I boiled it up, heated it up, popped it off, I actually snapped the elbow piece on the inside. So what I had to do was I had to roll up the sleeve here, switch out the elbow piece and the arm piece in there. Thankfully, I had some spare parts. So all this stuff in here is actually completely new. This is not, you know, it's not factory standard anymore. And so then I could get the gauntlet on, which was nuts. The elbow, which I was actually surprised Mezco did, you know. I know people have had complaints, but it was just brittle. It just snapped in there. So the elbow was just wiggling loose. So replaced all that, sculpted some nubs on there, painted it gold. The inside is done with is done with a gray black with some glossy black in there too. Just add some more character to the whole suit. But yeah, and then the wear and tear is also done in some gunmetal. Just bring out those details within the gold. Same type of paint applications on the other side. Another unlucky thing, the peg on the inside. So the inside piece of this ball peg snapped. In post, I was taking pictures of it, and then I was removing this hand, and the ball piece popped out with it. So thankfully, I also had a spare some spare Deathstroke ball joints. Had to boil this joint up a lot so I could tweeze out and just pick out that little nub that was stuck in there, replace the ball joint. So fun fact also, Sovereign Knight ball joints and Deathstroke ball joints, although a lot of their other parts are interchangeable, the ball joints are not. The Sovereign Knight ball joints sit distinctly smaller than the Deathstroke ones. So heads up for anyone who wants to make this. Beyond that, these are on elastic so that they flex and they move with the arms, so that he keeps full range of articulation. And I'm not going to go over articulation, mainly because it's standard for a Mezco figure. It's exactly what you would expect out of him. You know, so we get that side to side. He comes mostly up. The suit is very restrictive, though. It means, you know, the suit doesn't let him do as much as maybe you want him to. And I think there is some piling up of some fabric in there that makes it a little bit tougher. But, you know, we get it all the way up. So yeah, so, you know, that's that. I actually let this whole piece sit loose on there, and that's just because gluing it down, you know, could potentially mess with the cape or with the articulation. So in case anything happens, I wanted to leave it loose. So we're just going to post the head on here. And that's really the full review. The cape is wired, so you can pose it. Look at that. That's really about it. So we just barely passed over time. Guess this is going to be a YouTube exclusive too. No IGTV. IGTV needs to just extend the time that we can upload. But anyways, thank you all for watching. Once again, this is my custom Mezco Prometheus figure. If you are new to this channel for any reason, and I hope you are, because that means we're getting new subscribers, we're getting new viewers, which is exciting. You can find more consistent updates on my Instagram because I don't always have time to film these reviews. So my Instagram handle is Tosh_customs, TOSH_customs. I have a link in the about section on my YouTube page, and that's where you'll see a lot more content because I'm not always consistent here on YouTube. So thank you for watching. Thank you for any support you give me. I always appreciate it, and I hope you all have a wonderful day. Take care.